heard of the Tomte, haven't you? Small as a child, beard like frost, eyes older than the roots of the hills. Known to be lucky, too. But listen now to what happens when he is not. There was once a boy named Eirik who lived on a farm, much like this one. Strong fences, warm hearth, animals fat and content. His mother would leave a bowl of porridge each night with a curl of melting butter at its heart. For the Tomte, she'd say. Eirik would roll his eyes. Fairy stories, he muttered. We do the work, not some hidden little man. His grandmother, a woman like myself, would fix him with a look. Mind your tongue, child. The Tomte was here before your name was ever spoken. But Eirik did not listen. Night after night, the porridge bowl was set empty on the table. Silly old story, Eirik would say, licking the butter from the spoon with a grin. No one answered. It started with little things. A gate left open, though Eirik swore he latched it. A pail gone missing, found later, cracked clean through. Milk that turned sour before the morning light. His mother frowned. His grandmother said nothing, but her eyes, they watched the corners. Winter came hard that year. Snow piled high against the barn doors, and the nights grew long and heavy. The kind of cold that listens. But each night, Eirik would sneak into the kitchen and lick the bowl clean. His grandmother would look at him with knowing in her eyes. If I didn't know better, she would say, glaring at the empty bowl. Umferde, she'd hiss. Enough of this nonsense, Eirik said. If your Tomte is real, let him show himself. Ha! Foolish words have a way of being heard. That night, the wind ceased to howl. The kind of disturbing stillness that presses against your ears. Eirik woke to a sound. Not loud, no. A soft scraping, like something being dragged across wood. He sat up, heart quick but stubborn. Just the house, he told himself. But the sound came again. Scrape. Pause. Scrape. From the barn. Now this is where a wise child would stay in bed. Eirik did not. He pulled on his boots and crept into the night, breath fogging before him, snow like drums beneath his feet. The whole world held its breath. The barn door stood open, just a hand's width. Inside, the animals shifted, daring not to move too much. Steam rose from their backs and curled from their nostrils. Eirik stepped forward. Hello, he called. He could feel something was there. Near the far stall, by an old beam blackened with age, something small stood in the shadows. At first it seemed no more than a hunched shape, maybe a grain bag. But then it moved, slowly, deliberately, into the lantern light. The Tomte. Red cap dusted with snow, beard tangled like winter roots, and eyes deep like the earth where things are buried and remembered. He held something in his hand. A bowl. Empty. Eirik swallowed, but pride is a hard thing to break. So, he said, his voice thinner than he wished. You're real? The Tomte said nothing. He simply tilted the bowl, and from it fell black, frozen clumps like spoiled milk turned to rock. They struck the barn floor with soft, heavy sounds. Eirik tried to laugh. It's just porridge, he said. Just a story. The lantern flickered and the animals shifted, pressing back. The Tomte stepped closer. Small, yes, but the space around him bent. Eirik woke in a sweat. He told himself it was a silly dream and went back to sleep. The next morning, the farm was different. Eirik did not speak of his dream, but he saw the empty bowl everywhere, in every crack of every tool he tried to use, in the sweet, sordid stillness of the air, in the way the fire no longer burned, steady and strong. At last he went to his grandmother. Her eyes, old and knowing, met his. You saw him, she said. Not a question. Eirik nodded, shame finally loosening his tongue. I didn't think. I thought it didn't matter. The woman leaned in close, her voice soft as falling ash. That is the danger, child. Cruelty does not have to be intended to be felt. That night, with shaking hands, Eirik made the porridge himself. He set it out in the barn, a thick bowl, fresh cream, a generous cut of butter melting gold at its center. He bowed his head. I am sorry, he whispered. The subtle stir of life came back. The animals slept, and by morning the bowl was empty, clean. Now hear me well, friends. The Tomte is not wicked. He does not hunger for fear. He keeps. He balances. He remembers. So when you take, you must give. When you are given, you must thank. And when midwinter comes, leave the butter. Always butter. Because some watchers do not shout when they are angered. They simply stop helping. And that, my dears, is far, far worse.